Good evening, good evening. All right, everybody, welcome in on TikTok Live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. All right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2, check. Everything's good, I think. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get this show going. And welcome in, everybody, to the Last Row Podcast, a fan's perspective on sports. It's Brian here inside the ARM Media Solutions Studios on this finally Friday, July 24th, 2026. Hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, hope you're well wherever it is you may be at here tonight. Do have to apologize, a little bit of voice stuff happening, all that fun stuff, but hey, we are here. We're ready to go. We're locked in. And man, oh man, are we glad it is the weekend finally. Make sure you check us out online, www.lastrowpodcast.com. That is where you can go to find all of our sponsors, including our good friends over at I Know a Guy Remodeling, as well as Forever Finds Thrift. Thank both of those wonderful sponsors for their continued support. Big announcement tonight that we are going to start with here in just a little bit after we get through the propers and all of that fun stuff. We also have X and X Live, where we are at, currently streaming, www.x.com/lastrowpodcast. You can find us there. You can also check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify under Last Row Podcast. Jacob, good evening. Welcome into the show. Happy to see you. And then, of course, everybody on YouTube Live and TikTok Live. Thank you so much for being part of the show. If you are in the chat on YouTube, good evening. Welcome in. We greatly appreciate you. If you are in TikTok Live land, make sure that you interact with us, because this is America's fan-driven sports show. Couple things real quick right off the cuff that we got to knock out. This coming Monday night at 9:00 Eastern, 8:00 Central, I will be on the Catching Up with Cody podcast. If you are not familiar with that, get familiar with it. Guy is doing great work. He comes into our show quite a bit. We're going to have him on later. I don't know if it'll be this month. I think we got him scheduled early August, I think. But we are going to make sure that we get him on there and have he's going to be around and part of the show. So we're happy with that, and we're going to be talking with him on Monday night. So we'll get ready for that. All right, I hope you had a great week. I hope your week was better and has been better than some of the Philadelphia 76ers. Because I got to tell you right here and now, if I'm VJ Edgecomey, if I'm any one of those guys, I got to be honest with you. Right now, I'm not happy about it. I'm very angry. I'm upset. I'm frustrated because I know that my playing time, my touches, are going to be greatly impacted. If you missed the breaking news earlier today, it is that LeBron James has signed a 2-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this is his last decision, he says. BK, John, Michael, Alan, good evening. Welcome into the show. Give us your takes in the chat about LeBron James going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I got to be honest with you here. If I were the 76ers, I would not be happy. I would be very upset with my front office. I would be upset with anybody that was openly recruiting him, whether it was Joel Embiid. That's a hell of a comp. Great comp in the TikTok live chat. It's phenomenal. I just want to say this much too. I would be very whoops. Hello, there we go. We're checking the stream currently on one of our other channels here because it's not showing properly. So bear with me here. I'm just going to be honest. Okay, I am not a fan of this move. I'm not a fan of it from LeBron's perspective. And I'm certainly not a fan if I'm the Sixers. And here's why. Look, Tyrone Maxey, VJ Edgecomey, those guys are the future. Those guys, Max, good evening. Those guys are the ones that you want around. Those are the ones that you want taking shots. You want them growing. You want them developing their game. Now, there's absolutely no question in my mind that LeBron James is after one thing and one thing only. Actually, two things. Money and a ring. And don't know, good evening. LeBron put out a statement earlier today. And on that statement, and I'll just be honest with you, I saw a lot of, to be honest, I saw a lot of garbage. I'm not even going to lie. He said that he was, excuse me, there's a really good comp for LeBron James. And that really good comp for LeBron James is Aaron Rodgers. Because of the fact that LeBron and Aaron Rodgers like to make things about them. And LeBron and LeBron and Aaron Rodgers like to make things completely about what it is and what it could be and what it should be, and it's all about him. And so LeBron James put out his statement today, and that statement was, at the end of the year, I was going to retire, I was done, yada yada yada. He says here, and I'm going to read you the full statement, okay? And this is from his X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Colston812, good evening. I thought I was done when the season ended. I wasn't ready to announce it, and I knew I needed some time to really decide. But I was pretty sure I had played my last game. I was honest at that last press conference when I said I needed to look at myself and decide if I still love this game. I still truly love this game, and I have more to give. The last few weeks have been really special. I've never been able to have no clue what to do and take real time to just think. That's a lie. Sorry to say that. That's a lie. He says, I've had an incredible few months with all the people I love trying to figure it all out. This is my last decision. I'm not going for money, which means I am. I'm not going for family. That's true. What I'm playing for, really at this point, I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. I still want to compete, to win, and to have a chance at that feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help make the Philadelphia 76ers a championship team, and I am so excited to energize a new fan base and start this incredible journey one last time. Thank you, LA, Miami. I'll forever love, and Northeast Ohio will always be home. Okay, so give me your thoughts here in the chat. Give me your thoughts where you feel like if this was a good idea or not. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think it is. I absolutely do not think that it is. And with LeBron being in Philly now, here's the issue that I have. You're taking massive amounts of time and energy, and realistically, I mean, you're going to a place where you're going to be the second most injured player on the team. Joel Embiid hasn't played more than 68 games in a season. LeBron James has not played 82 games in forever. So therefore, what in the hell? Why does this make Philly better? It doesn't, in my opinion. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. You've got Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Simmons, Dalen Terry. Okay, you've got guys here that are really, Maxey led them in points and assists and steals. Okay, you had Paul George previously. Now you don't. I just don't like it. They've got no bench, exactly, Michael. And that's the issue here, Reagan. You're exactly right. VJ Edgecombe is going to take a huge dip in stats, in touches, in confidence, and all of it. He's not going to be the same player he was a year ago, which helped get them to the playoffs. And again, I'm not. Look, I am absolutely not at all sold on this. I think this is a bad deal for both teams. Granted, it's only $8 million total. But I think here that, quite honestly, Joel Embiid is there's a ton of pressure on him. Absolutely a ton of pressure. I mean, he played last year 38 games. Andre Drummond played more games than Joel Embiid. Philadelphia can't have that. Jaylen Brown coming over, and now between LeBron, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, guess what? There's four guys right there fighting for the ball. And I'm going to tell you this right here and now. If they get off to a slow start, there is going to be so much heat on Nick Nurse. Because I guarantee you Nick Nurse didn't want this. I would bet dollars to donuts Nick Nurse didn't want it. He didn't. Nick Nurse did not want LeBron James on his team. Yeah, Michael, that's what we've said here. Embiid's career high for games played in a season is 68. That was 5 years ago. Joel Embiid is unreliable. Now, would you put Jaylen Brown at the 5 maybe? Sure, you could. Or could you put LeBron there? Sure, you could. But you know what? LeBron is older now. LeBron doesn't have the same get up like he did previously. And I'm sorry, I don't like this. I don't like the move at all. I think the move is a horrible move for LeBron. I think the move is horrible for all of the 76ers players. Because look, you just brought in a big name talent in Jaylen Brown, who I think is going to have such a bigger impact on that team. But now you're going to tell your young guys, you know what? Let's regress here. Let's take a week or two off here, and I mean, you're just putting them in a bad situation. You're putting them in a bad situation. Not to mention Nick Nurse, who did a great job coaching last year. And I don't think that this. I don't think, and this is just me, I wonder if they get off to a slow start, Nick Nurse might be launched. Because then you're going to see LeBron's going to be there 2 years. That's his contract. 2 years. So he could bring in a coach that he wanted, whether it's Tom Thibodeau, whether it's Doc Rivers, whether it's, whomever. He could bring them in to coach the Sixers then. And LeBron could say, well, look, it wasn't the coach. Or it was the coach. It's not the players. He could absolutely do that. And if he does that, I'm telling you right here and now, yeah, Nick Nurse is a good coach, but look, you're only as good as your players are, right? Nick Nurse is not a defensive wizard. Yeah, Nick Nurse won a title in Toronto, yeah, but he's had talent elsewhere and he hasn't been able to do anything with it. Now you get Jaylen Brown and two often injured guys in Joel Embiid and LeBron James. Look, the latter part of LeBron's career, he's been injured. LeBron has been hurt more games than not. And for anybody in Philadelphia that's excited about this, I'm sorry. It's not a good move. I mean, you look at games played last year, okay, for the Sixers, minus LeBron. Okay, Maxey had 70. Paul George had 37. He's gone. He has not been healthy. Are you kidding me right now? LeBron James last year, I'm going to look right now. LeBron James a year ago. Do they even have him listed here on the roster yet? No, they don't. Wow. Okay. LeBron did not play well. LeBron played well. He didn't play many games. Okay? He may have played, in some of these other games here. But look, last year, let me look at his stats. He played in 60 games out of an 82 season. You're going to tell me he's healthy, Tay? You going to tell me that? What honestly, what? Okay. What? 60 games. And you're telling me he's healthy? You're wrong. He has not played. Okay, I'm going to give you this. From 2018 on with the Lakers, 55 games, 67, 45, 56, 55, 71 and 23 and 24, 70 and 24 and 25, 60. He's not healthy. I'm sorry, he's not. And Joel Embiid, the most that he's played has been 68 games, and that was 5 years ago. You know damn well Joel Embiid's not going to be healthy. So you've got two guys that are the quote-unquote, leaders of your team. One of them is the big free agent acquisition who's not even going to play 75 games. He's not. Nick Nurse's job is done. Listen, lifestyle. Appreciate the take, but here's why. If they get off to a slow start and LeBron doesn't like what he's hearing, you damn betcha he's going to be in the ear of ownership and GM. LeBron's a coach killer. Look at where he's been. I'm sorry. If LeBron doesn't get along with the coach is gone. And no offense to anybody else in Philly, but, I don't think that this is a good fit for Nick Nurse at this point now. If you'd have just kept Jaylen Brown with them, okay, fine. That's great. Love it. Great move by the Sixers. Okay? You get rid of Paul George and you bring in a young, hungry guy that wants to win in Jaylen Brown. Now you bring in an old man who still thinks he's a 20-year-old kid. Oh, Reagan, come on. He did it in L.A. He He's done it in Cleveland. He's done it in the only place he didn't do it was Miami, because Pat Riley knows basketball. But he did it in Cleveland. He did it in LA, and I guarantee you he's going to do it here in Philly. He's on a vet minimum, but he's still LeBron James. And he's not the GOAT lifestyle. I'm sorry, he's not. You have zero legs to stand on in this conversation, because LeBron James is not the GOAT. He is not anywhere near Michael Jordan. None. Okay. Long as he's not your GOAT, then we're good. By the way, if you are new to the show, welcome in. Michael, I agree with that statement. Curry has his own wing right now in the Hall of Fame. My God. Think about that for a minute. Okay? Reagan, I agree with you. When he got to LA, he was still a top 10, 15 guy. I'll agree with that. But since then, no. He has been very, very... LeBron is the best comp for LeBron is Aaron Rodgers. The best comp is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, did you guys see the post that ESPN put up after his decision was made today, and he put it out on X and social media? Did you see the spectacle that ESPN made it? I'm sorry. Nobody cares that much about LeBron James anymore. Father Time is undefeated. And for LeBron James, he's losing to Father Time. And yes, might he get another opportunity at a ring? Sure. But you know what? Philly's not beating anybody out of the West, number one. Number two, I don't even think they get out of the East. I mean, you look at who's in there. You look at their division, okay? And let's talk about that logistically, okay? You look at the Atlantic. You got Boston, New York, Toronto, okay? Those three teams right there could absolutely... Cody, thank you, brother. Are we on at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, or 8 Eastern, 7 Central Monday? I was mentioning it right at the start, and I forget. I'm an old man. 9 p.m. Eastern, so 8 o'clock Central, so I was right. Monday night, check us out. It's going to be huge. But yeah, I'm telling you right here and now, you have a hungry team in Boston that's rebuilding, but they're still hungry. And Joe Mazzulla is a very good coach. The Knicks are coming off the NBA title with a hungry Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. You got Toronto, who's retooling. And now you got Philly. I mean, the one team in there that doesn't make any sense is the Nets, right? So then, okay, we're talking about the East here. You got Cleveland, Detroit, Indiana's going to be better. You know who else they don't even have here on ESPN? Oh, there it is. You got the Heat. I mean, you have legitimately a dozen teams in the East that will be playoff contenders. Plus, let's not mention, we haven't even mentioned the fact that, look, I think the Chicago Bulls are going to be infinitely better. And they've sniffed around the playoffs the last few years with Billy Donovan. I think they've gotten significantly better. Who's the first option? Maxey, VJ, JB, LeBron, Embiid. Embiid's not even going to be on the court. Let's just cross him out now. He should retire. Let him retire. Let him go do whatever he wants to do. He's not. Look, I'm sorry. It's not going to be. This isn't the LeBron James of old. Okay, this is not the LeBron James of old. And LeBron thinks he's going to contend for a ring in the East. No, had he gone somewhere else in the East, had he gone to maybe Cleveland or Detroit, I think that would have been a better fit for him. Not Philadelphia. I mean, what position is he going to be in Philly? I mean, is he going to be the 3? Is he going to be the small forward? Or is he going to be the 4? The power forward? Are he and Jalen gonna flip-flop? Yeah, Reagan, I don't think you're wrong, Reagan. I don't think you're wrong. I think Cleveland was the perfect fit. And he chose to go to Philly. And I know publicly Giannis was making a pitch for him. But Giannis didn't want to play with LeBron. Yeah, that's accurate, Michael. He's going to play the 5 when it beats it. Stranger things have happened. Magic Johnson did it in a playoff game against the Celtics in the finals when Kareem couldn't do it. Look, I'm telling you right here and now. I just think this is a really bad fit for Philly. I don't like what it does to the development and the leadership that Maxey was used to doing. Bringing Jaylen Brown in is great, I think. He's a natural-born leader. He's absolutely a natural-born killer on the court. You have a number of guys that are young and up and coming. And you're going to hinder their development because you wanted to bring LeBron in for what I mean, how does this help Philadelphia? Gives you a backup at center for Embiid when he's gone. That's if LeBron plays more than 45 games. Right? I mean, let's call it what it is here. LeBron missed 22 games a year ago. He hasn't played more in the last 6 years. LeBron James, let's see, from 2018 to last year. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, okay, and 26. It's 8 seasons. He's averaged, I would say, 60 games, if that. If that. Yeah, and LeBron's not coming off the bench. Come on. Lifestyle, he's not coming off the bench. LeBron's going to want to start. It's LeBron James. LeBron thinks he can help bring Philly a title. Yeah, 15 years ago, sure, I agree with that. 10 years ago, yes. Now, no. LeBron hinders their ability to get closer to a title, in my opinion. And I don't believe that LeBron I don't believe that LeBron is as good as he thinks he is in his own mind. This is his last decision, he says. Father Time may not allow him another year after this. Look, I'm just going to, this might be a hot take. This might be a, Brian's a LeBron hater, whatever. He may not play after this year. Let's think about that for a minute. LeBron James might be one and done. God forbid he has a catastrophic injury. And look, I don't wish any injuries on anybody other than Packers. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. But I don't wish any injuries to LeBron James or anybody like that. But if LeBron goes down, if he tears a hamstring, ACL, Achilles, something like that, he's done. He's not coming back. He's not. And yes, he might be a top 30 player, Reagan. Yes, you're not wrong in that regard. But I'm sorry. He's not LeBron James of old. He's just not. And I think it's going to be very difficult for Philadelphia fans. I mean, look, Michael Jordan knew when it was time. Michael Jordan knew when it was time. Jordan should have never come back with Washington. And most people don't even remember those years with the Wizards. LeBron is at that point now where nobody's going to remember these 2 years with Philly. They're not. Unless if Philly wins a title, which I think it's very, very, very difficult for them to get to where they want to go. I mean, you've effectively, look, I'll put it this way, okay? And this might be a really bad way of putting it, but you've neutered your young guys at this point. You're going to say LeBron, Jalen, Joel, take over. Because they're the vets. Maybe even Maxey. Yeah, Jordan knew, though. Jordan knew that the game was passing him by. And Jordan had a mentality. Look, here's the other thing. And this drives me nuts about LeBron. And LeBron was one of the first ones to do it. The load management bull crap. Well, I got to save my legs for the playoffs. No, you don't. You're a world-class athlete. You don't need to save your legs. Are you kidding me? But that's ushered in a whole new, type of thing where now tanking is outlawed and so on and so forth. But for LeBron James, he doesn't have the same mentality that Jordan did, where Jordan felt obligated. Jordan felt like it was his job, and it was, to play every single night. Every single night for that guy in standing room only. Jordan said that. Those were his words on the NBC broadcast earlier this year. He felt it was his job to do that. LeBron doesn't. LeBron doesn't. And VJ and Maxey, huge step backs this year. It's going to be noticeable. And I guarantee you, this is going to be more of a negative in the long run for Philly than it is a positive. It's just the facts. It's a cold, hard fact at this point. It's a cold, hard fact. So LeBron James goes to the 76ers. So now all the other free agent dominoes will start to fall. All of them will start to fall. And that's good. That's really good, because then that means we're starting to get more and more into, what teams are going to look like, so on and so forth. Yeah, look, Rich Paul better just worry about what his girlfriend or fiance, wife, whatever she is, Adele, is doing out in Vegas. Because, Rich Paul to me is a non-factor at this point. He just is for LeBron. This was LeBron's doing. Look, LeBron made it all about himself. Let's not sugarcoat this. He made it all about himself. LeBron, listen, I'll make my decision when I'm ready to. And then he posts on X and on Instagram and on all over his social medias that, hey, I'm close. I'm very close. Come on. Just make that. I mean, you knew you were going to Philly. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, his decision was absolutely made a while ago. Absolutely was. All right, let's take a timeout. We're going to hear from our good friends over at I Know a Guy Remodeling. And then when we come back, we are going to switch gears. We're going to talk NFL. And we're going to talk and preview the AFC South. AFC South. All coming up right here on America's fan-driven sports show, where it's real fans, real talk, and your front row to it all, right here on the Last Row Podcast. All right. Are you thinking about selling your house someday? Or maybe you're staying put for years, like I am. Either way, updating your home is one of the smartest investments you can make. Whether it's modernizing your kitchen, upgrading your bathroom, new flooring, finishing a basement, I Know a Guy Remodeling can help you increase both your home's value and your everyday enjoyment. Quality work, honest service, attention to detail. That's what separates them from the rest. They've earned a reputation for being and treating every project like it's their own home. If you've been putting off that remodeling project, now is the time. You can check out a link to their Facebook page on our website, www.lastrowpodcast.com, because everybody deserves to know a guy. And now you do. I Know a Guy Remodeling. And welcome back into the Last Row Podcast, where it's real fans, real talk, front row to it all. And we are America's fan-driven sports show. How does this affect Bronny? Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, and I wish you would have asked it prior to us going to break and teasing the new AFC South division that we're going to be looking at here. How does this impact Bronny? Simple. He goes back to the G League where he belongs, or to the bench, and being a rotational player and being a guy that realistically, isn't factored. I will say this, though. I also think it helps him. And the reason for that is because I believe that it helps him and it helps his development because he's not hindered now or tethered to his father. He can go make his own decisions now. He doesn't have to think about what he's going to be doing. He doesn't have to think about what's my dad thinking, or why is dad thinking this. Why is dad talking this way in the media? Bronny can just go be Bronny at this point, and I think that's more of that's a good thing for him. That's a very good thing for him because honestly, I think that overall, if Bronny is motivated, I think this will help him immensely because now he's out of his dad's shadow in that regard and he can just go play ball. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's in the G League. I wouldn't be shocked. But we'll see. All right, the AFC South. Let's talk about it. All right, so the AFC South has undergone quite a transformation here over the last year. Right? The AFC South is littered with new talent. You've got some really, really, really good defensive-minded coaches here. You've got a second-year head coach in Jacksonville that is trying to make his mark on a very young, still impressionable quarterback. You've got another coach in Indianapolis that might be on their way out if things don't go right. So let's preview the AFC South with the Titans, the Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans. All right, let's start, and we're just gonna start this reverse order. Okay? The reverse order of this. So who's going to be on the bottom? Who's going to be on the top? For me, just me, I think Tennessee is on the bottom. Okay, according to ESPN, they have the 28th ranked roster heading into training camp. Cam Ward is their quarterback. I know Mr. First Down, my guy, thinks that Cam Ward is the legitimate answer. I don't. I didn't like him coming out of Miami. I don't like him now. TWPF, welcome in. Tony, hello. I didn't like him coming out of college from Miami. Cam Ward, to me, is a smaller version of Tua Tagovailoa. He is. You've got Tony Pollard at running back that hasn't really done a whole lot. Carnell Tate, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Calvin Ridley. Okay. It's an okay room for the wideouts. It's not great. Gunnar Helm, Daniel Bellinger at the tight end positions. On the defensive side, Jeffrey Simmons, who's one of the best in the business. We know that. I wanted him for years on the Bears. For years. Jordan Elliott, Solomon Thomas. You then have Jermaine Johnson II and John Franklin Myers, Cody Barton at linebacker, and Cedric Gray. Now, let's talk about their strengths for the Titans for a moment. Their wide receiver room is their heart and soul. That's the best room that they've got. They brought in Wan'Dale Robinson, who is one of 4 receivers with 90-plus catches in each of the last 2 seasons. 4-year deal. JFM is going to regress heavily. Doesn't have talent around him anymore. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. The biggest weakness is their safety position. And look, let's be honest here. Robert Saleh, the new head coach, he's brought in some guys to absolutely try and, make this defense better right away. He brings in Brian Dable on the offensive side to help Cam Ward, who wanted Cam Ward when he was in New York, who was intrigued by Cam Ward. Minty, good evening. But safety is by far their biggest weakness. Now, cornerback, I think, is going to be their X factor. They've got some young corners. And both of their new corners were signed as outside free agents. And again, that's all because of Robert Saleh. There's no question about it. Saleh, to me, is the biggest pickup that they could have gotten. And quite honestly, it's because he's just that good of a coach. Now, does he fit the mold of the coach that is an okay head coach, but a better coordinator? Or is he just better off as the coordinator and not the head coach? That's the question. That's the $1 million question. So now, Tennessee brings him in. I think this is a big year for Cam Ward, Because if he struggles, they're done. And I think Tennessee's looking for a new quarterback. I truly do. I think Cam Ward is too small to play the position. I just do. All right. I think the Titans are going to be the bottom feeders of that division. Not too far in front of them are going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts, to me, are very, very intriguing. Very intriguing. And the reason why I say that is because you've got a quarterback situation that is really undecided at this point. Okay? And what I mean by that is this. You've got Daniel Jones as your starter, who missed most of last year. Started out, like a house of fire, right? Started out great. Then had the Achilles injury. Is he going to be healthy? We don't know yet. We don't know how it's going to go. You've got an aging running back in Jonathan Taylor, who has already been linked in trade conversations. One team in particular out of the NFC North, which is the Chicago Bears, which I find really fascinating. I don't know how he fits there. You lose Michael Pittman in a trade. You sign Alec Pierce. You've got Josh Downs. You've got Tyler Warren, your young second-year tight end, who was very good last year. Let's be honest. He was a very good tight end. Now, at your offensive line, you still have one of the best guards in the NFL, in Quentin Nelson. He's legit. Still is at his age. Defensively, you've got DeForest Buckner, Latu and Arden Key as your edge rushers. You've got Sauce Gardner, again. And Charvarius Ward. Mekhi Beckman as your corners. And how far into this are we? 45 minutes in, and I just now get notified that we're getting restricted again. Anyway, we're going to continue on. Your safeties, they're okay. Your cornerback room, look, you invested a lot. You invested a lot in Sauce Gardner. He's got to produce. He's got to play well. If he doesn't, that's a problem. If he doesn't, that's a problem. Now, per ESPN, their biggest strength is their running back room. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think their biggest strength, honestly, is their cornerback room because they've got some really good corners. I would really like to see them invest more on the defensive side of the ball. Jonathan Taylor's getting older. He's getting a little long in the tooth in the NFL terms. Plus, he's never healthy. He's always injured. The biggest weakness, the off-ball linebacker. Losing Zaire Franklin, that was big. That was big. Lifestyles, you're right. I agree that that's their weak spot. Now, I think that one of the biggest X factors on this team, and we brought it up very, very quickly right out of the gate with them, is their quarterback, Daniel Jones. If he's not Daniel Jones from a year ago, and he reverts back to Daniel Jones from the New York Giants, oh, do they have a problem in Indy? Oh, do they have a big problem then in Indianapolis? Daniel Jones has to play well. If he doesn't, Shane Steichen will be gone as head coach. Steichen will be gone. And I think that overall, you're going to have a lot of questions for Shane Steichen if they're not very good. You're going to have a ton of questions. And I don't believe that general manager Chris Ballard is safe either. I don't think the Colts, if they struggle out of the gate, I think Steichen is gone, and I think Ballard's on the hot seat. And the Colts ownership, the Irsay girls, they've made it known. This you win or you're done. They've got to see progress, and if they don't see progress, there's going to be big change in Indy. That's why truthfully, I think Tennessee and Indy could flip-flop in the division. I truly do. All right, the next squad up is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. I am not a Trevor Lawrence guy. Never have been. You look at what Trevor Lawrence has done, and it's been average, we'll say. Doesn't show the flashes to me like he did at Clemson. Never has. So therefore now the question becomes, what does Liam Cohen do in his second year? You've got Tootin as your running back. Your wide receiver room is Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas Jr., and Parker Washington. Brenton Strange is your tight end. Offensive line is okay. Your defense is older. They're another year older. But this year they have the benefit of having Travis Hunter only as a corner, which I think is a smart move. However, my fear for the Jacksonville Jaguars is that when they hired Liam Cohen last year, Liam Cohen had a great first year. Reminded me a ton of Matt Nagy when Matt Nagy was the head coach of the Bears. My concern is that if Trevor Lawrence isn't Trevor Lawrence, they're going to be bad. And I'm just going to put it out there right here and now. If Trevor Lawrence is bad, he's gone in Jacksonville. He'll be gone. They would absolutely, I would venture to say this. The Cons, the owners, look, I'll put it out there. I'll speak it into existence. I think they would love to have Baker Mayfield right now over Trevor Lawrence. And the reason for that, Baker Mayfield under Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars, who was the OC for 2 years in Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate under Liam Cohen. They had a great relationship. Baker was not happy when they let Liam Cohen go. So if there's a trade to be made, I absolutely could see that happen. I absolutely could see it happening. I truly think that Trevor Lawrence has been a disappointment so far in the NFL, given the fanfare that he came out with. And look, I like Trevor Lawrence. I loved him coming out. I thought he was great. But he hasn't produced. He's had really one good year, and that was I would say last year was average. Now, you look at their biggest strength, it's their edge rushers. Josh Hines-Allen has been one of the best young edge rushers. And Trayvon Walker, back in 2022, the number one pick for them, he's become a really good running mate with him. Hines-Allen ranks 10th in the NFL with 61 sacks since he entered the league in 2019. He's been really, really good. Their weakness is running back. Travis Etienne is gone. LaQuint Allen Jr. is going to be Tootin's backup. And you've got a journeyman running back, Chris Rodriguez Jr. will form a three-headed monster at running back that nobody really knows how good they're going to be or how bad they're going to be. And running back, quite honestly, is the easiest position in the NFL to get and to hit on. So, could Jacksonville be in the market for maybe a Jonathan Taylor? Absolutely they could. But there's no way the Colts are trading him in the division. Absolutely not. The X factor is going to be Travis Hunter, I think. Look, if Travis Hunter struggles on defense, you're going to hear people screaming for him to go back on offense. If Travis Hunter gets hurt again, you're going to have people screaming that he did too much his first season before he got hurt and the year previous in college at Colorado. I'm just going to tell you, I think Jacksonville regresses this year. And I think that Jacksonville and the Cons have their version or the AFC's version of Matt Nagy as their head coach. But in a division where you've got the Titans and the Colts, the Jags might be your next best option. So now, let's talk about the clear-cut division winners from a year ago who are going to be the division winners again, and that's going to be the Houston Texans. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. I think the Houston Texans are a really good team, but they've got one major question in my mind, and I think in everybody's mind, and that's C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has completely regressed over the last 2 years in the NFL. His rookie season, he was great. His second season, you started to kind of see that dive, and then ever since, it's kind of been like this. Their biggest strength on this team, now let's break down the key spots here, okay? You've got Stroud at your quarterback. You've got an aging David Montgomery. Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Tank Dell as your wideouts. You've got Dalton Schultz, who's older, Cade Stover, okay, as your tight ends. Your offensive line really doesn't leave a whole lot to be desired. Your defensive line is good, with Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter, Logan Hall at the tackles, Sheldon Rankins at your tackles. Your linebackers, and then Derek Stingley, Lassiter, Bullock as your safety. Look, this is a really good defensive team. And look, their defense is their strength, in my opinion. And I think their biggest strength, quite honestly, is their head coach, DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco Ryans has very easily been one of the most impressive first-year head coaches that we've seen in a long, long time. I think he's been very good. He has brought a different mentality to that franchise. He has really turned that franchise around. And I think as the defense goes, they go. Now, Lifestyles, you put in the chat here on TikTok that you think that this is a bad fit for C.J. Stroud, and that's because he's a game, or he's not a game manager. He's a playmaker. Well, if he were a playmaker, I think he'd be making more plays, don't you? I don't think there'd be many questions surrounding him like there are. Look, he has struggled the last 2 seasons, and I know there's been inconsistencies at offensive coordinator. I get that. But when Bobby Slowick was his OC his first 2 years, first year was great. Second year was not so great. And then the third year and now the fourth year. Look, this is a an average quarterback who I think is a game manager. I think that's what he's best at. I think they've coached, or for lack of a better term, they've neutered the game play, the big play game, the big play guy out of him. Because I think that I think he internalizes everything. I don't think that he, as a quarterback, has a short memory like you need to have. I think he has a very long memory, and he dwells on bad plays or bad decisions. And I think that's what hinders him. I think that's what hinders him. So we'll see what happens in terms of the Texans. But look, they are the class of this division. Now, I will say this as well. If Daniel Jones plays well and plays like he can, and like he did for the first few months of the season last year, the Colts are going to be up there. They're going to be competing. But I think he's going to regress. I don't expect him to do well. That's why I think you've got, if it were me, and I'm looking at the AFC South, I'm saying the Colts and the the Colts and the Titans, they're a pick 'em either way. Then you've got the Jags, then you've got the Texans. I think the Jaguars have an okay year. I think the Texans are going to be right back in the thick of it in the playoffs. And look, C.J. Stroud's got to have a good year. And if C.J. Stroud doesn't, plain and simple, there's going to be changes in Houston. Mark my words. There will absolutely be changes in Houston at the quarterback position. Because they if you had a quarterback on this team, oh my God, yeah, that would be, you would be favored to come out of the AFC potentially. With that defense, as good as that defense is, with DeMeco Ryan, if you had a quarterback on that team, oh my God, you would be one of the favorites to come out of there. You'd be up there with Buffalo and Kansas City and the usual suspects. So yeah, that's what I think. So to recap, the AFC South, top to bottom, Houston, Jacksonville, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indy, flip-flop. It's a pick 'em at that point. And that's what I see. That's what I see with those four teams. Now, when we're back here tomorrow night, and we will be back here tomorrow night, we are going to preview the NFC South. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to get into that. And I'm just going to tell you, the NFC South to me is incredibly interesting. And the reason why I say that is you've got a new head coach in Atlanta. You've got a second-year head coach in New Orleans. You've got a coach that's on the hot seat in Tampa. And you have a young head coach in Carolina. And Carolina has lost two major players this week. Major players. So that's why I think that overall you're going to have some very interesting and unique potential standings in that division in the NFC. And then on Sunday, we are going to tackle the NFC East. We've already talked about the AFC North. We've already talked about the AFC East. We've talked about the AFC West. So we're done with the AFC. We're going to talk about the NFC. And look, we're going to save the NFC North for last because based here in Illinois, that's my bread and butter. And that's where we're going to stick with. You already know who I'm going to pick for the division winner. So don't be shocked when I say Chicago. All right. Let's talk here a little bit about the NHL. And one of the big name players to drop was Patrick Kane, returning to the Chicago Blackhawks, where it all started, where Showtime became must-see in Chicago. Now, I will be completely honest with you here. I am very torn about this signing for the Blackhawks, and here's why. He signed a 2-year contract with an average annual value, or AAV, of $8 million to come back to Chicago. Now, he knows Chicago. He knows the Blackhawks. He knows the city. He resides there. It's home. It's where his family is. He knows Chicago. Here is where I think things get dicey. He was a part of the scandal that rocked the Blackhawks, that took those 2010s, 2013, 2015 Stanley Cup, or excuse me, what was it, 10, 12, and 13, I think, Stanley Cups, whatever it was, the 3 and 6 years that they had, that took those Stanley Cup runs and they put a black mark on them. They put an asterisk by it. And it was because of what the general manager and the coach and the players did to their teammates. But Patrick Kane now is 37 years of age. He can still be an impact player. However, as we said earlier on, Father Time is undefeated. Now you're pairing him with a center in Connor Bedard that you need to have a good year. Bedard needs to play as much as possible, and he will start the season on IR because of a shoulder injury sustained at practice. So that means Frank Nazar has to step up. Patrick Kane's got to step up. There are other guys that are going to have to play well. My concern with the Blackhawks is that they're putting all their eggs in a reunion tour that I think a lot of Blackhawks fans are going to be disappointed in. I think Blackhawks fans are going to feel like they're going to get 2015, 16, 17 Patrick Kane, and that's not going to be the case here. He's older. He's a step slower. Will he help your power play? Absolutely. Will he help you in shootouts? Absolutely. Is he going to be a great two-way player? No. He never was to start with, but at least he was fast. His speed could make up for it. It's not going to be the case anymore. So, Kaner coming back, Showtime coming back. He can still be an impact player. He played in Chicago for 16 years. And look, he's earned the full no trade. His agent, Pat Brisson, said there were 10 legitimate suitors. And Kane decided it was time to come home to Chicago. Now, I know that everybody thinks that home is Buffalo for him, and absolutely, yes. Home is where Buffalo is where Patrick Kane grew up. But Chicago turned him into the man that he is today. And so for Patrick Kane to come home to the Hawks, I love the idea. Nostalgia is great if it works. And Connor Bedard has been lobbying for this. He knows he needs a winger on his side that can match him, that can help create opportunities, and that's what Patrick Kane can do. He's still a wizard with the puck, just like Bedard is. So the Blackhawks have their combination now. with Bedard and with Kane. So now the bigger question becomes, what do they do next? And I think it's going to be fascinating to see. I think it's going to be fascinating to see what the Hawks do because the season is roughly 2 months away already. And Patrick Kane was already at practice yesterday, right after the deal was announced. He was in the Indian head sweater that everybody has known and everybody loves. Kane is entering his 20th NHL season. He's 4th among active players with 1,400 points and 6th with 508 goals. So Kaner comes home to Chicago. I'm excited to see it. And when Gene Honda, the public address announcer for the Chicago Blackhawks, when he announces number 88, Patrick Kane, the United Center will come unglued, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. All right, that's going to put a bow on this edition of the Last Row Podcast. But wait, there are some announcements we have to make. We are extremely excited tonight to announce that we are partnering with Fanatics, the apparel brand. You go to fanatics.com/creators/LastRowPodcast. You will find our page on fanatics.com. Make sure you go there. Make sure you buy merchandise. We're going to start putting a link to the Fanatics webpage on our TikTok page. We're also going to have our link tree listed there as we've partnered with them. We are also going to be streaming here very soon on a new platform called Sideline.fm starting tomorrow night. So make sure you join us there as well. And Sideline.fm gives us the opportunity to allow for call-ins, interactions in the chat, but also to broadcast NFL games. And that's what we're going to do this season. I'm incredibly excited for it. I'm ready. It's been a while since I've been behind the play-by-play mic, but I'm up for it. So until tomorrow night, when we're back here in the ARM Media Solutions Studios, I want to thank our good friends over at I Know a Guy Remodeling. I want to thank our friends over at Forever Finds. I want to thank you, the listeners, whether it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, for being part of the show. If you're with us on YouTube, X, or TikTok, thank you so much for being part of the show. And until tomorrow night, when breaking news changes everything, I'll see you in the last row.